The next day, the village of Umoma seemed quiet, but behind the calm, something was happening. Nneka had chosen a few brave people to secretly watch the king. They took turns hiding in bushes near the palace or pretending to be passing by, always careful not to be seen. Days passed, and soon it was the night of the full moon, the big round moon, shining brightly in the sky, lighting up the village. Nneka and others waited, just as she suspected. The king stayed inside his palace. He did not come out, not even to check on his guards. Something is wrong, Nneka whispered to herself. She gathered her small group and told them what she thought. The king is hiding something. He fears the moon. This is our chance to learn his secret. But how could we get into the palace without being caught? The guards are always on patrol, and the king trusted no one. Then an idea came to Nneka. There is a secret path behind the palace, she said. My grandmother told me about it when I was young. It is a tunnel, underground tunnel. We can sneak inside through there. The villagers looked at each other in shock. Could this be true? Could there really be a tunnel? Nneka nodded, her eyes serious. It is risky, but it is our only chance. If we can find out what the king is hiding, we can use it against him. That night, Nneka led the group to the back of the palace, under the cover of darkness. They walked quietly, their footsteps is as smooth as the wind. When they reached the spot her grandmother had told her about, Nneka and the villagers knelt down and started digging with their hands. After a few minutes, her fingers touched something hard. It is here, she whispered excitedly. Together they cleared the depths and uncovered the entrance to the tunnel. One by one they crawled inside the narrow passage, barely widely enough for them to fit. It was dark and damp, but they pressed on, determined to find out the truth. After what felt like hours, they reached the end of the tunnel. Nneka pushed open a wooden door, and they find themselves inside the palace, right in the front of the king's chamber. They could hear the king talking to someone. The villagers rejoiced together, holding their breath. Bring the mirror, the king's voice echoed through the room. I must see it again. A mirror? What mirror? The villagers listened closely. Moments later, they heard the sound of footsteps and something being placed on a table. The king laughed, a cold, evil laugh. As long as I have this mirror, he said, no one can defeat me. The magic will keep me strong forever. Nneka's eyes became wide open in shock. This was it. This is the king's secret. The mirror was the source of his power. Without it, he would be just a normal man. We have to take that mirror, Nneka whispered to the others. It is the only way to stop him. But how? The palace is heavily always guided. And if we are caught, the punishment would be severe. We have to be smart and would have to be quick also. As they quietly crawled back to the tunnel, Nneka's mind raised. She knew that getting the mirror would not be easy. They would need a distraction, something to draw the guards away, and even then, they have to be very careful not to wake the king. But as they emerged from the tunnel and covered it back with dirt, Nneka felt a spark of hope. They now know the king's weakness. The next step was figuring out how to use it against him. The villagers returned to their various homes, with their hearts pounding with excitement and fear. The plan to defeat the king was slowly coming together, but the hardest part was yet to come. Would they be able to steal the mirror, a mirror without being caught, or would the evil king discover their plan before it was too late?